G'day guys, and welcome to a weekly roundup. Popular demand a couple of weeks in a row now, so I'll try and continue it where time's possible. Decent enough week, profitable week, depending on what price you sort of secured. I think the worst is a little bit over 20% on turnover if you got the worst price of whether possible. So a good week no matter what, hopefully. Just go through them all. Last week I sort of rushed it a bit and didn't go through thought processes for each selection, which is what a lot of people want, so I'll try and do that where possible. First day covered was the Sunday meeting at Narromine last week. Two betting races on the day, including an all-up between the first and the third. Our tickets was the first selection, looked like it would roll forward and dominate. It was coming out of a couple of solid races and looked like it was getting back to its right grade, looked like it was getting back to its right trip of the mile and would roll forward and hopefully dominate. Unfortunately, didn't happen. Just sort of heading back there, sorry. Race 3, we'll watch the start. No reason to go through the whole race over and over. This was him out here. He kind of dwelled at the start, really gave up quite early on going forward and then decided to ease. Looking over his shoulder, looking to ease. Still easing. Still eventually eases back in again here behind these horses. So a horse we kind of hoped, here it is here, so he's still easing. Still easing. That's 600 metres after, 800 metres after the start. He's still easing and ends up second last. So for a horse that was hoping to be 12 lengths closer, he's ended up second last, and then he's not a sprinter, so he's a one-paced horse. He's always going to be one-paced from this point and absolutely no chance of running them down. So just a complete forgive effort, whether he's tired or had enough or what, I'm not sure, but he was just given absolutely no winning chance, and that's kind of how it ended up. The only other betting race for the day was race 6, race 5. We had a nice roughie here in Sweetheart. It was about 20 to 1 in the morning, $5 a place. It was kind of a conservative win and a bit more solid place bet was the selected. The reason why I liked it, and kind of want to go back to its form, it's forgiving these runs completely for the old trainer, for Graham Brown. It had been with Janelle Shapter for one run, inexperienced girl on it this day. It showed some pace. It's behind the leader, I believe. Sorry, it ends up behind the leader. So it's up showing good speed this day. Ends up third the fence here. Sorry, I just want to try and get through these as much as possible. Behind the leader, she couldn't really extract the horse off the heels of the leader. And when she finally did get it into the clear, you can see the horse has got something. It's got a bit of, still got reserves of energy. The winner's basically eased, but if the horse went straight, it probably would have given it a nice bit of trouble. It went from that straight to a mile, which was pretty crazy. So that was 1,200 to a mile. And knocked up, as you would expect. 75 days off. It then went to Cessnock. Drew a wide gate here. So this is now 1,200 a mile, back to 900. Drew the outside gate. You can see that it's up there, showing tempo with speed with 900 metre horses. Dragged right out the back of the race and basically given a barrier trial. The two leaders are off and gone. They're fast horses. It's very hard to run on at Cessnock. You see he's checked and checked and eventually runs into third. Beaten a big margin, but should have finished a lot closer and obviously could have settled a lot closer if it drew a gate. Then went to to the race we were talking in question. So the big query was the 900 to 13, but it drew us inside gate this time, and confident it was going to show a bit more speed around a track that was suitable for that sort of runner. Did draw the inside here, so we're here in behind the leader. tracking through, showing that natural speed. Looked the winner here for a brief moment before it. The distance obviously got to it. The distance jumped, the 9 to 13. Obviously just didn't have the fitness fully. Nearly almost certain the horse wins the race if it was had another run under its belt. But you can see, but as soon as it got to the front, it's basically gone, and simply just through tiredness, you can see it's hardly picking its legs up. So, you know, not a bad bet. We're just a run short, which is probably why we got the price, because it won't be 20 to 1 next time, and that was probably its race. So still a collect for $5 a place. Straight to Tuesday at Newcastle. We'll rush through these. There was a double and a treble were the selected bets. Morovey, the Frankel More Strawberries colt, just got a good opinion of him. Not sure whether he's this time in or next time. Once he gets to 2,000 metres and beyond, he could make a nice horse. Then we were all up Reach for Heaven, that was extraordinarily heavily backed and won accordingly. And the third leg of our doubles and trebles. So we were first into second into third, and first into third for something small. The reason, why I was saying Morovey, I thought it just had plenty of upside on this field. They do run good time here, and it's quite impressive. Back here, third last, really good Bowman ride, ends up 1 out, 1 back. 1 out, 2 back probably there. In the Vinery colours. Sweeps into the turn, and the stablemate, who's also got ability, had the camp on it everywhere it went, and it wouldn't have mattered if they went another lap. I don't think it was getting past the stablemate. Really like the way he sticks his neck out, and again he's not mature physically, so it'll be interesting to see how far he goes this prep, but pretty soft win, well backed, and a good start to the day. Reach for Heaven again. Just had a huge class edge on these horses. No real need to go around it like it's gone around at $1.20. It wasn't too hard to find, but it was $1.90 in the morning, $1.80 in the morning, and did have form around the likes of Arbet Sam and the Pharaoh, which was just too good for these. You see Bowman just could barely hold it, drags itself into the race, runs away from them, so not much to learn there. And then our banker for all our multis. Fortunately, I stupidly thought the winner was the only possible danger, and when it was $9 in the morning, I thought that was about right. Not only possible danger, I thought it was the horse that could improve, but I thought it would go forward, which would suit us and we'd beat it. But when it's been dragged out to last, it kind of left no one there. You can see that the horses overreacted to everything here. I'm not really sure what went wrong with this horse this day, but very, very, very unlucky. Like, it's not as if they've set a solid tempo, not a really fast tempo. Bolted on the jockey a bit and then ended up bolting into the outside fence. Basically uncontrollable, and only gets beaten. Gets beaten a half length or something along all those margin. I'm not really sure. Check what the margin was. Not even. It's just got beaten just over a neck. Obviously that angle's deceptive, and did everything wrong possible. It's about a 30 unit difference to us in all up, so a bit of a tragic story, but that's racing, and that horse will probably, I'm not sure what happened there. I did hear a rumour it was in season. Would explain a bit, but a bit of a shame. Canterbury, 4 betting races for the day. Race 2, 3, 4 and 5. Race 2 was our first. I expected Schubert to show speed and be hard to beat. I thought Solar Patch was coming out of the right race with addictive nature. I think the 11-day backup for Solar Patch has just left him a bit flat. Schubert's obviously been dragged out of the back to last and basically out of business from that point with the pattern of the day. Also a very slow tempo was set, so his effort was not bad to come from behind. Albumin just floats a bit in front, which kind of to be expected. He does look like he's still got improvement to come, and Solar Patch is just a little bit one-paced on that quick back up, and that's basically the moral of the story. Did underestimate the winner a bit. I thought it was a good horse, but I thought it would be fourth the fence. I thought that Schubert, which gets physically dragged out of the race here, would go with Albumin, cross to the fence, pocket this horse Super X, and it would be in a world of pain. All of a sudden it's outside a slow tempo and just about unbeatable from that position. You see that Solar Patch here running one out, one back is just a little bit one-paced. He's just desperate for 1400 metres, it seems. 2 or 3 weeks between runs and out to 14. I think he's still got a good race in him, this preparation. So he just sort of totally loses the turn and gets a little bit out-sprinted and flat-footed. But he's going well. Schubert was just given no winning chance with the ride. Nice Horse the winner. I think these two down the outside are nice horses, and even the Hawks horse resuming is not a bad effort, considering it was giving away a bit of fitness to the others. Race 3, nothing to really worth talking about here. The ride on No Pushover is pretty self-explanatory. We backed No Pushover and saved on Up and Rolling. Quick look at the race. No Pushover was going really well in the country. I thought it would lead here comfortably. Unfortunately, the apprentice has just gone a little bit too slow and allowed the senior jockey to come up and pressure him into taking hold. I can't believe he's given the lead up there without even trying, and he's ended up from that position. Another horse has gone past. Now he's 3 back the rail. He's let the favourite in Hugh Bowman go around him. He's $1 billion to 1 to run past this horse from this position, and he's sort of still under a hold. So just a forgettable ride from Blake McDougall. Live and learn. Hugh Bowman way too good. Nice enough horse. No Pushover, not a bad effort really to continue to run on, considering everything that went wrong. It's not a horse that's going to run on from back in the field, so solid enough performance from it. No Show is going to be difficult to place. Erythrea, our horse here, it just drew the right gate. It has natural speed to either lead or will be third, which is where you want it to be at Canterbury this day, and does a good enough job to poke its head out. I thought we were gone for a while. I thought this horse here had us beat, Gerald Ryan's horse, but good ride from John Claude here, or John Van Dam, Van Overmeyer. He's booted up enough to make this horse work and hold his position. The horse relaxes. He lets this. What is it? Doing my head in. What's it called? Vienna Romance around him, and probably should have been out here in his own spot. Gets lucky that this gap opens up in behind. Didn't cost the horse too much. I thought we were in a bit of strife here, but he does pick up nicely and a good honest win. I thought Vienna Romance had us cold. It's been hard fit back in grade, and we were a little bit lucky to get the result, but it goes the other way plenty of times. Savapinski obviously looks like it wants further. And Maribel wasn't a bad little comeback either. They're just quietly lobbing in behind. Last bet of the day, short price favourite. I think it's 280 to about even money. Thought it would lead all the way. Just had huge class on these horses. First up, trialling well. The only danger was if it let a 50 to 1 shot cross and got into a bit of strife from that position. Lucky Van Dam over Meyer, he just boots up enough to put a bit of pressure on those on the outside to want to cross him, and just does enough to bluff them out of crossing him. Once he led, there was no price really. Something weird had to happen. Quality mare, and she does the job very well. She'll head on to a mare's race somewhere, I'm sure, over the carnival, and acquitted herself exceptionally well. I think up to a mile she's a pretty solid horse, and a restricted grade race here, she was very, very well placed. Strong through the line, the stable's going very well. So solid enough day, but nothing too exciting. Alright, tomorrow, where are we here? Gosford. Only one betting race for the day. I've erred here, underplayed the favourite a bit, I think, and I knew these horses were a bit limited. The betting and the parade said that ATM was nearly over the top and probably needs a spell. Very fast horse, but needs to be at the top of its game to compete at this level. Couldn't lead. It was out of business. Atomic Meteor found the back of the favourite. I thought we had a fleeting chance there, but the winner was just way too good, heavily backed, and accordingly ran accordingly. We did save on the Quinella with Atomic Meteor. I thought that was an absolute certainty in the run, but decided to hang in and probably cost itself second. Tim Clark, good ride to get the back of the favourite early. ATM got crossed, and just forgive it. It's just an immature type. Atomic Meteor got to the outside, and for our Quinella hopes, looked for all and certain to be going to be run past Starbowl, I thought, especially on the turn, but just peaked on its run and hung a bit. Unfortunately, it only held on for third, so no joy on the Thursday with the one bet. Friday at Taree. First race of the day was a horse that we backed at Cessnock. It was a banker for our multis plus a small bet on it here when it was about the $2.50 mark. Heavily backed into 157, you'll see, so we hopefully got the right price about it, taking it into doubles later in the day that unfortunately had no joy. We'll have a quick look at this. Good ride from Belinda Hodder. She took the sit early, exposed the horse at the right time, didn't mess with trying to cut up the inside behind a roughie. She obviously knows that it's quite a nice horse and put these horses away pretty well. She's a pretty nice type that I think could measure up to a midweek off season or something like that. Definitely go through its grade. She's a nice enough sprinter. Race 6 was our next leg of our doubles. Anticipated a fast speed and hoped that we'd be able to run on. Had a big query against a couple of the favourites here in D'Angelo and Torrio's Delight. Snippernet was the favourite early in the morning, $2.50. It just looked insanely short. The two horses we backed ran last and second last. Obviously one beaten 25 lengths with an issue, and Bon Costa just looked like he was just completely run off his legs and possibly needs a mile and maybe another run under its belt. It did look like it was ready to go, but obviously I've chimed into it a bit early. Not disappointed with the selection of Western Saga. Obviously something bad's gone wrong. This is Western Saga back here. Bon Costa's up holding an on-pace position, gets outsped off the bit quite early. See here that Western Saga is on the back of D'Angelo. I'd be backing it all day, so he just blundered there and something happened. And Robert Thompson grabs hold and it pulls it out of the race. So this is Western Saga back here, our main multi, and the other one's back in here, just gets tired. So no joy there. Not too disappointed in the selections. I was correct in wanting to bet around the two short price favourites early in the morning. Unfortunately, just one of them died and the other was a run short, and we just didn't get the right horse, but that happens. Next race, I was keen on Fleetior here. It was a big result for us through doubles. It came in quite short and then very, very, very soft in betting late. Gets the perfect run in transit here and does nothing. Not saying there was anything untoward, but it was a very strange outcome to the race. Like fast tempo, the horse has won over a mile. Just doesn't add up. Something's obviously gone wrong. All But Gone just gives away too big a start. He's a horse I'm nearly got to put the line through now. I thought out to 14, he was and off a fast tempo. He was worth the risk. A little bit dirty with myself. I haven't found old Randiki. He's been flying. 1400's fine for him. I just thought, the rider and a few other little things that maybe the others had an edge over him, especially Fleetior, but he's too good. So this is Fleetior in here. Just finds a perfect trailing position. Second horse in the race here. Randiki's out the back as always, and All But Gone's not even in the picture. Here comes All But Gone. Fleetior here, they're just in a perfect striking position, does absolutely not. Randiki here, All But Gone, a lot further back than it looks there. It's about 3 off the back of Randiki, and just here you think he's a chance of sprouting, but I think he died in his run. I think he's a 1200 metre horse back marker that'll just drive you insane following him, but he probably will pick up a race as soon as you get off him. No joy on the day, small loss. Heading to Randwick on the Saturday. Well publicised now, massive tailwinds. I'd set up for a meeting where I was a little bit penalty on leaders, but I thought it would be on pace-ish, but sort of just in behind and trying to find the ones with a little bit of cover. as it turned out, leading was an actual advantage on the day, and by the last race we'd entered in a bet on Super 2 that I'd marked about $7 in the morning, and then I marked it $2.50 by the time we got to the race time, so I expected it to be heavily backed and ridden very well by Blake Shin and took advantage of it. But the first race, we bet him race 4, with 2-horse play coming through Life Less Ordinary. As it turns out, they've run the Quinella. I just believe they had a huge class edge on this field. I wasn't thinking that coming through would lead. I expected Life Less Ordinary to get back. Once coming through lead, I would have marked it even shorter than I did, but that's easy in hindsight. This time of year, you seem to find races like this. The beauty of this race was there were no other horses in the race really set up to run a really good 1400 metres. These horses had won over a mile and further. They're going to be strong. They've got the class on their side. They're nightmares to beat in this sort of grade. It's just light years from a benchmark 90 to Group 2, Group 1 grade, which is where these horses are both heading. And this time of year, you find a few races like this where the prices sort of nearly drive you insane because you just can't believe the value you're getting. But it is real, and you've just got to tap into it. I'm still coming to terms with not collecting on this horse, Life Less Ordinary. They put up $17, and the winner was about $4.40, $4.60 into, I think. Oh no, he still started about $4.20. I thought he'd be a lot heavily backed, but his effort's good. Life Less Ordinary up the inside's an enormous effort. They've run home here in sub 33 or right on 33, so this horse has broken 33 for 600 metres. It's a 2,000 metre plus horse, first up from a spell, so he's back and he's in for a great preparation. Nothing wrong with the winner's effort. He eases up a little bit on him late, and he's done his job. First up 14, so bit of luck there. Main as in biggest bet won, but second horse was a better result for everybody, but only marginally. Race 5, no bet. Race 8 was our next bet. I just thought that Spectroscope would be the first horse to the outside here, and definitely had the wood on. Home sort of underplayed the on paces a little bit, and with their bias they've just controlled the tempo and got home. Probably haven't given Deploy enough respect of how good a horse he is, and when he controls tempo, there's not many horses that can run him down. It would take a Winx to do it. It's just that sort of level. So he's, it's like how Fox Plays run and how hard it was for Winx to run down. This was a very similar, a little bit faster tempo, but a similar race, and Deploy was just too solid for the back markers. This is Spectroscope back in here. It's still fairly soft for mine. I wanted to bet against Ome Sword at the $2.20, and it got out towards $4. So correct in that bet. Just looking back at it, just the pattern was against Spectroscope, and he was a little bit flat and disappointing as well. So a little bit dirty on myself for not finding the winner, but that's in hindsight. Super 2 was just the perfect horse here. This nearly impossible to run anything down with a loose lead over 1,000 metres with a hurricane behind it once you get to the straight. He took full advantage of the horse's speed, didn't try and stack them up, ran ridiculously fast time. I believe it was a track record, and you can see here, wind assisted, nothing's going to run this horse on. Especially the best part was second and third were a big into one to run it down. They were just horses that don't want to go past. The two horses that were probably best suitable, especially this horse, Gibraltar Girl, if it was run on, was always going to give a huge start, and the whole race just set up ideally for Super 2, and it didn't let anyone down. Last day, oops, Tari today, just the one play. Didn't like this favourite, thought it had trialled up okay and didn't like its old form. I know I get petrified of horses resuming for Tim Martin. I know he can put links on them, but this horse just didn't catch my eye as a type on its first start at Gosford for Tracy Bartley. It would have to have developed immensely. The horse that I did find was Miss Victor to beat it. Out here, misses the kick, had to lead really to give a sight and win, and the other horse who spec'd from the inside gate with the blinkers on as well was very, very soft in the betting. So Miss Victor, when she's back here and over racing and doing crazy things, takes forever to get outside the leader, noses and noses with the leader, and just has to knock up. She's a weakish little horse, probably find very difficult to place. Not taken by Lady I Am either, and this horse, I think, Play Something, that was our other selection. Play Now, she was a little bit weak too, so correct in trying to bet against the favourite, which kind of was the pattern for the day at Taree, but very difficult to find the winner for me. Good enough effort. You can see the blanket finish. Play Now wasn't actually a bad effort, probably a bit of an average ride, to be honest. It's probably cost it being in the finish. You see here, if it had just kicked up and held a position in front of that, the horse that it eventually comes around its heels, and you can see it just getting warm late. So it's not hopeless. The other horse is not hopeless, but needs to find conditions where it can lead. And that was the day. We had a couple of close calls that hopefully people chimed into. I was absolutely filthy at myself here for not chiming into Loz. It was only $6 this morning, and I marked it sort of $5 with a query over where it was going to be in the run. If I had thought it possibly could have got out forward, I was keen on it. And you'll see here, this is the horse out wide. Really, you can see he's in two minds, and it was only because everyone else is looking over at their shoulders and grabbing hold that he even gives it a dig and decides to roll forward. The horse was basically unbeatable from this position. Only falls in, but it's just that was its ideal position, and if you knew it was going to be there, I would have marked it like even money. So a bit of a nightmare to watch it go round. They did bet $6 in the run. $9.50 it got out to prior to the race. If it was $9 in the morning, there's no doubt it was a selection. So a few things add up here to make it a bit of a nightmare. Solid enough win, but this was its race. That was its Christmas, and nothing really to follow out of that. So a good week, profitable week. Hopefully we'll keep it up this time of year. Good fun with some nice horses coming back. Any questions for Punters Academy for Paul and myself tomorrow, please email them through to myself, John at Racing Watch, info at Racing Watch, or Paul at thepuntersacademy.com.au. All of those. Anything else, feel free to email me anytime. Thanks, guys.